Welcome guys, Alex Rocha here with Strata Digital. This is the very first episode of Momentum Mindset. I'm really excited to have a good buddy of mine, Edward Gomez. He's a hustler, he's a mindset entrepreneur. He's looking to make some moves in the new year, and I wanted to get him on the show and kind of pick his brain on a few things. So Edward, what brought you into real estate?
What brought me into real estate? I was fighting my way to school and trying to figure out what it is that I'm going to do. And of course, I went towards the typical engineering or trying to be a doctor or lawyer school, what these big professional things would be.
Yeah.
I knew I loved buildings and like architecture and just Houston itself and the way it's built. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll go to school for architecture. I was like, I can get my hands on, I can design, whatever. Well, the more I had mentorship and people come into my life that I asked for guidance for, I became more of an entrepreneur mindset. And I was like, man, I need to drop out. I made a decision to drop out of school. But before I did that, I called my mentor, Mauricio, which played a huge part in where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And also, who is now my broker. I had just met him. And I called him and I was like, hey, I've been thinking, I want to put my people skills, my entrepreneur mindset. I want to take this leap and become a realtor. And, it's the same thing as being not an architecture, but I could middleman it and, make it happen.
Yeah.
And, one thing they said was, if that's the decision you're going to make, you need to make sure you make something happen. And I remember I was in Mexico and a week later I dropped out of school. And I kind of just put the pieces together, got my license, and a year, about a half into it, I'm finally rocking and rolling, man, and I love everything about it. So It's not even just the transaction part of it, it's the whole home buying process and seeing the smiles and the gratification for my clients.
Awesome. So how did you go about meeting your mentor, Mauricio?
I grew up in north side of Houston, so when you grow up in a hood area, your dreams and your limitations are very, very limited because no one in the area or entrepreneurs and business owners, everyone worked a corporate job. And, usually your family's struggling, and that's what it was. My mom was a single mother. Father was never in my life. So I was very limited. And then we moved from a Hispanic and Black predominantly school zone. Freshman year, I moved to Jersey Village, so my whole scenery kind of changed up, and I started to already adjust some things and move a little different. So that was a huge transition for me. Then going to college, I started coming around the drinking, the partying, the drugs, and something that wasn't me.
Yeah.
And I found myself lost. I found myself upsetting my mother that she's worked so hard for. I found myself alone, trying to live for acceptance, trying to please others. And it was just at one point, year after year after year, I hit rock bottom, financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And, my mom was just consistently saying, stop telling me you're going to do this. Like, keep saying it. You're a liar. You're a liar. Mm-hmm. And, it's just at one point, you decide to stop being the victim. And, I became a victor, and I said, I would no longer be called a liar. I would no longer blame myself. I would no longer play victim. And I reached out to a gentleman I had met randomly. And I literally I found him on Facebook, and I was like, yo, this is the definition of happiness, traveling the world. I was like, it would be amazing to be in that position. Mm-hmm. And I reached out to him, and I said, I need him, and I needed to meet up with him, and I would do whatever it takes to get to where he's at. And it was March 15th we met up at Zoe's Kitchen, and we talked. And that day he guided me, and he said, this is what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to get rid of selling drugs. You're gonna have to get rid of consuming drugs. You have to get rid of alcohol, social media. And I was so desperate for change that I had no choice, because it was either that or a couple more failures and rock bottoms to where I was ready to contemplate life and throw it all down the drain, because I couldn't live with the depression anymore. Yeah. So when I did that, I went all in. I watched The Secret. He told me to watch. I would text him like 2 hours later, hey, what's next? He was like, okay, you're serious. Like, dude, like, what do I got to do? And it was crazy because, you know, you don't really hear stories like this, but I was so hungry. Man, I ended up going 13 months clean from my body, just drugs and alcohol and cleansing from friends. And mentally, I knew where I was headed. And 4 months, and this is where the mentorship plays a role, is someone that just doesn't just tell you, they guide you and they believe in you. And you know, I remember like 4 months into it, my depression actually got worse because I was so lost. And you know, people want instant results. And I would text him at 3 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning, send him long paragraphs. And then he would just call, he would text me back saying, this is part of it. I promise you, just trust me. The rewarded feeling is just way better. Like, stay positive. You're going to be okay. Like, I've been in your position. I've been in your shoes. And I actually texted him today, you know, come March, it'll be 2 years. I said, everything you said was right. You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you completely in regards to mentorship. Finding somebody that's not just going to tell you what you want to hear or what their 2 cents are, but they're going to kind of guide you and keep you on the right course. They're going to say, hey, you're messing up here, or hey, you need to change this or adjust that, or they're there for empathy and support as well. Like, hey, I know what you're going through. Trust me, I've been there.
Yeah.
You stick with it; it'll be worth it. You know, so I think that's super important in regards to mentorship.
And I figured out too. You know, I really push people to find mentorship because him changing me spiritually, physically, and emotionally. I figured, okay, if this dude changed my life, my way of being, my way of thinking, and I want to be this real estate guy, I could reach out to this successful realtor that may want to pay for it, but who knows? You never know until you ask.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said, I reached out to Erwin Nicholas, you know, Mr. Real Estate. Man, if I could show you all the screenshots and DMs, I blew him up and was like, bro, like, persistent. I'll do whatever. Yeah. And I literally would just message him, hey, this is what I do. I'm motivated. I'm hungry. This is what I do in my free time. And the dude's probably like, nice to meet you. And, you know, we met up. And, you know, like once a month, and we would talk, and I would just tell him, I'm hungry, I'm doing this, and he would just watch. And at first, you know, I kind of wanted sympathy from him, just like you do from mentors, but these great mentors just sit back and really they're going to see what you're really about. And that's what I've learned is they sit back and they watch every move. And I worked so hard. I told I'm 24 years old, and on my vision board, I put 28, 29, I'm going to work for Mr. Real Estate. I'm going to work for Mr. Real Estate. And, you know, little did I know he was just watching me. He was watching how hungry I was. Every time I talked to him and I told him my next goals, he just paid attention. And he called me about 4 months ago, maybe, and asked me to come work with him. And he believed in my dream and my vision. So mentorship is a must, especially to you young millennials out there.
Yeah, but also it's important that, you know, we don't waste somebody's time if we're not serious about the work behind it.
And these mentors won't come chasing you down. Exactly. So like you said, you'll be wasting your time because these mentors they watch. So if you're wasting their time, they're not going to call you and say, no, I need you to do this. No. Yeah. They'll let you go back.
So what would you say that your particular niche is, or kind of what makes you different, what makes you stand out in regards to being a realtor?
What makes me different? That's a good question. I guess, like I said, when you grow up, and everybody has their own ways of growing up, you know, whether you're born with a silver spoon or you're born without a silver spoon. At the end of the day, I think it comes down to being truly who you are. Growing up, you know, I was questioned, you know, tattoos and, you know, Hispanic, and just being Catholic as well. There's a lot of rules and regulations and beliefs. So you get discouraged. Of course, someone's putting a limitation on you. Yeah. And you can only get up to here. Hey, if you get a corporate job, you're going to have to wear sleeves. So all throughout, after graduating high school, because I had already had my first tattoo, it was like, I'm already thinking to my head, because people are accustomed to this way of life of, you're going to have to wear long sleeves, you're going to have to wear long sleeves. And the more I started reading, the more mentorship and the more studying successful people, I figured out you can do whatever the hell it is that you want to be. And I told myself, I'm going to be Houston's coolest realtor, and I'm going to I'm gonna surprise the world, because I remember people literally telling me, "You're not gonna be able to do this. You're not gonna be able to do that because of your tattoos." People just even question me too. "Oh, you do real estate with tattoos?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they try to tell you, "Well, you used to sell dope, or you used to do this, or you used to consume this type of drug." Like, people remember that. Nah. One thing I've learned is you can accept what you've done and you turn the page, and you just continue moving on forward.
You learn from it.
So that's what makes me different. Is I've accepted my failures. I've accepted the hurtful things I used to say and do, and I've made peace with certain people, and I've made peace with myself. So now that I've made peace with myself, I can be 100% authentic to who I truly am, and that's what I am. I feel like I can influence my lifestyle, and not only that, but the whole Houston School is Realtor and influencing people with. I want people to be them, and I feel like they have to talk a certain way or dress a certain way or put on a certain type of image on social media or outside of social media. And to be honest, it's worked very, very well for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. If you have a vision, people would always try to downplay it or manipulate it to fit their comfort level. And when you're just so sure and certain of where you're going and how you're going to get there, none of that matters. I don't care.
Yeah, and I think the hardest part with that is that's the outcome of it, but it's how true are you to stick to it and take criticism and say, no, this is part of the process. Exactly. This is part of the process. Once you overcome it, it's free game. You can do whatever the hell you want to do now.
Exactly.
So yeah, you're
Especially with like social media, it's completely changed the landscape of things. It's all about, do people relate to you? They don't care about the corporate image so much. I mean, I get it. There's certain jobs out there, and I respect that. Somebody's a CPA or a lawyer under a certain firm or whatever. You have to appeal to a certain corporate image, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But for people like us, where we're saying no, we don't want to conform that way because it hinders our personality.
Yeah, you're not going to tailor my lifestyle.
Exactly.
Tell me what to eat, how to dress.
Yeah.
That's 50% of my day. That's 50% of my life you're controlling. No, it's stupid.
Yeah. So Edward, what are some of the other things that you're working on aside from real estate?
Man, outside of real estate, I have a great mentor, Marlon, Real Estate Marlon. Y'all follow him on Instagram. I reached out to him as my investor mentor. So I have a real estate mentor, a life mentor, and a real estate investor mentor. So I'm definitely learning the investing side on how to flip houses.
Okay.
Some other things that I do is I'm real big on social influencing, and it's not really like I want to be this famed social influencer, but I definitely want to get people that grew up how I grew up, or people in juveniles, or just anybody in general. I want to influence them to just be better, be great, be funny, be creative, be innovative, and to just stand out. And what I mean by stand out, not like do something out of the ordinary. It's be you. Bring your ideas to the table, because you never know what your boss man's gonna think or say, or what an investor might think or say. But other than that, social influencing. I'm working on my second speaking event, which I should be hopefully finalizing in January. That's about it. I'm having fun branding myself as an individual.
Yeah,
it's fun, and a lot of things that I put on social media is nowhere near what I do behind the scenes. I mentor a couple mentees. I always motivate people in my circle of influence. I'm always sending them things that I'm reading. I just feel like people need that access and that motivation, because no one else is going to push them. So I feel like that's my way of paying it forward with my mentors, and they paid it forward to me. I feel like I'm responsible to pay it forward to not just young millennials, but to other individuals.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome. I agree completely on your points there. The school system, the way it is, it's not set up to create entrepreneurs or somebody who wants to create something for themselves. It's very much cookie cutter in regards to go out, get a job, work 30 years, 40 years, and then retire. So Edward, what brought you into real estate?
What brought me into real estate? I was fighting my way to school and trying to figure out what it is I'm going to do. And of course, I went towards a typical engineering or trying to be a doctor or lawyer school, what these big professional things would be.
Yeah.
I knew I loved buildings and like architecture and just Houston itself and the way it's built. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll go to school for architecture. I was like, I can get my hands on, I can design, whatever.
Which really isn't the case anymore because...
Wealth in a wheelchair.
Yeah, exactly. What gets you up every day? What motivates you?
That's deep. My brother and my mom.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What is it about them that you picture in the morning? What are you doing? Are you doing it for them? Or are you doing it for yourself?
I'm doing it. At the end of the day, I do it for other people, of course. Because my heart goes out to people that are lost and people that are unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think the way me and my mom and my brother were so broken at one time.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much hatred and so much going on.
Yeah.
You just realize how important of a role they play in your life, and it's not their fault. It's the way they grew up or their circumstances, and we all play victim. And I feel like it's my turn to start a new legacy because we were once broken and we're now a good.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing like blood, and a lot of people say blood doesn't make you. What is it? Blood doesn't make you loyal. What's that?
It's like blood isn't thicker than water or something like that. Blood's
it's trying to say that even though your blood
loyalty
related,
makes you family.
Loyalty makes you family, and
Yeah.
I think that's such bullshit.
Yeah.
My brother's my brother, regardless. My mom's my mother, regardless.
Yeah.
And you live once. I don't think people understand you're in an hourglass, and every day it's not guaranteed. And I think the way I grew up, and the things that my brother's been through mentally, and I'm going to keep it to an extent because it can get personal. But I could have lost him any day at any time.
Yeah.
So I think that deep to where
Yeah.
I got to be successful in this time frame. Because what if it's too late?
Yeah.
And I lost my grandma when I was 10 years old. So I look at it, my mom, of course, not the most healthy, but, she did have to get her kidney cleaned. And, she's in and out of the emergency room for her personal reasons.
Yeah.
And if you really think deep in life, like I do, that's because I read, and you start to figure out this whole life thing, and it's not a joke anymore.
Yeah.
And I wake up, and I overwhelm myself, and people be like, Edward, calm down. Edward, relax. Like, it's not the end of the world, but you don't understand. What if I lose my mom next year?
Yeah.
And I promised her to travel her around the world, or I travel her dream house. Or what if my brother ends up dead the next day, or this or that? Like, I felt. And y'all may look at it like, oh no, bro, you did everything possible. Nah. Because the day I went to go party the other day, that could have been my opportunity.
Yeah.
Or the day that I took this 3-day vacation in Austin to go party with some friends, that could have been my moment. So, it's either now or never. And that's,
I agree with you completely.
my mom and my brother's my motivation.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You want better for them. You want better for yourself.
Yeah.
And so that wakes you up every day. And I'm the same way. Family is everything. I do what I do for them, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, Edward. It seems to me, especially with the power of social media and people being more and more connected these days, I feel like more people are having an entrepreneurial spirit. They're chasing their dreams. So that's sort of a mindset. Let's talk a little bit more about that. What kind of mindset do you think people need to have in order to achieve their goals?
A mindset doesn't just happen overnight. It's definitely something that needs to be developed, and it's being strong-willed, having faith. It's just like a bad habit. You got to break certain habits to develop that one part in your mind. Mm-hmm. You got to release. You got to have the strength to release toxic people from your life. And to me, one of that was, do I have that strong mindset to where even if it's family, I can release them? Mm-hmm. And it took me a whole year to release, someone very, very important to me, but I overcame that obstacle, and that developed my mindset, and it showed me that, you know, it plays an important key to where you develop it. You do so much reading, you get all this advice from your mentors and these successful people, but until you start applying it, that's when you start applying to your mindset. Because if not, you're just weak-minded and become mediocre, you know, to the rest of the world. Not that there's nothing wrong with being the rest of the world, but when you have these big dreams and you want to be successful and you want to stand out and you want to excel, you know, you got to get out that comfort zone. You got to develop that mindset. It has to become natural. That's why I tell people, the more I read, the more I study successful people, the more I hang around with individuals like you, it becomes a lifestyle. Now my mindset's like, it's running. It's like you're giving it fuel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you start off in this bubble, your mindset's just at a slow pace.
Autopilot.
Yeah. And you got to develop it. You have to. It's like a factory. You got to put all the pieces together. The right people together. The right energy together. You know what I mean? You have to make some adjustments and tweaks. And you got to develop that mindset. It's a factory. Develop it.
Yeah.
You know,
just
build from ground up. And one thing that I've done is, okay, my mindset's probably at 30%. I got to break this bridge down, this puzzle, and start from zero and build my way up again. And sometimes that's what it takes to break yourself down and rebuild, because you're stronger than you've ever been before. I'm stronger than I've ever been before.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely one part, you know, what kind of thoughts do I have on a daily basis? Are they ambitious thoughts, or am I just like, okay, well, it is what it is. I'm just going to go do this and be normal, right? Which is nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But if you, again, like you said, if you have big ambitions, big goals, you need to have a particular thought, a mindset going on. And also, second ingredient is who's influencing you in your life. Who your family, your friends, your mentors, you know, those people play a very important role in regards to how you're going to execute your vision going forward.
Yeah, they say that one quote, you know, and it's so crazy. And, you know, a lot of people repost all these motivational memes and whatnot, but a lot of that shit's real. And, you know, what's absent to the world is a lot of people don't apply to it. You know, you are who your friends are.
Yeah.
Hate to say it. And it's not that you're better than your friends, but you are exactly who they are. So if you want to be great, hang out with the greats. Doesn't mean that you're better than the people you grew up with or you went to high school with. And I think that's what keeps people from taking that next leap is, these are my homies. 10 years of friendships. Like, I can't, like, okay, well, if you can't, then stop dreaming big. Stop trying to want to be great, because that's all part of that mindset. You have to hang out with the greats to be the great.
Exactly.
And then you said one thing I really wanted to speak on too, and I hope, you know, I can encourage people to do it. You said when you wake up, what kind of thoughts do you have?
Yeah.
I have my list of affirmations on my chalkboard as soon as I wake up, and I speak it every day. You know, I will be successful. I will be a multimillionaire. I will inspire thousands of people worldwide. I will provide for my family. I will be great. And then I sign it. You know what I mean? Awesome. Those are those positive thoughts that when I wake up and I'm in a bad mood, I'm like, what am I tripping for? Let me speak this into existence real quick.
Yeah, the little things that mess up your day or kind of piss you off or kind of get you in a funk, once you look at your goals again and you start thinking about your goals, they're minuscule on the scale of things. They're non-existent. Yeah.
If I could, you know, pay one thing forward or to get something across, it's accept that you may have to be alone for a little bit.
Exactly.
If you can accept that, you'll be okay, because it sucks. Yeah. And no one understands you. And there's countless nights where, you know, I cried. I just wanted to give up, wanted to throw in a towel. And it became real lonely. And you'll realize who's really there for you when you are alone. Yeah. And I promise you, it's 1-2 people. Yeah. So, you know, accept that I want to take this leap. I want to do everything that my mentor just said, and I'm going to do a life-changing experience. Okay, that's cool. But just say, and I accept that I could go months of loneliness, and no one's going to understand me, and people are going to discourage me, and people are going to say, okay, go have fun with your mentor. Yeah. Who's this mentor? You know what I mean? Like, you know, that shit discourages you, because you feel like, these people are right. mentor. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
You try to act tough and you try to live for acceptance. Like, just don't.
Yeah. Yeah, don't give in to, I mean, misery loves company, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Misery loves company. And I've experienced the same where, as you grow, the people that aren't growing around you kind of want to bring you down.
Yeah.
They're like, no, what are you doing? Why are you going in that direction? We don't know what's over there. So I don't care what's over there.
Not exactly.
I know that there's something better this way, and so I'm going this way with or without you. I love you to death, but it's my life.
You gotta level up.
Yeah.
And a good thing to add on to what you're saying, and we can wrap this up here. People would ask me, especially when I did a speaking event at Heights High School, and people say, "How do you find these motivated people in your circle of influence?" And that's people's mistake, is don't go finding these people. Don't go finding your next girlfriend. Don't go finding your next wife. Focus so much on yourself. You have a couple components in you. You have your mental, your spiritual, your emotional, your physical, and you have love that correlates with that too. It becomes a lifestyle. Can't put it into. That's the best I can put it into words until you start doing it, because it's life changing, bro. The people that have entered my life are just amazing. The most genuine people, and to be honest, the most new people that have entered my life have been the most motivating, the more genuine, the more I got your back, the more, do you need anything from me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a lifestyle.
All right, Edward. Well, it's been great chatting with you. I know I got a lot of value out of our talk. I know the folks watching this will get a lot of value as well. I look forward to seeing you hustle, man, to grow, to build, develop. I love the relationship we have, and I look forward to continuing to build that and seeing more out of you in the coming months, years, and so on. So tell the folks how to get a hold of you.
To be honest, right now I use 3 social media platforms. Facebook, Edward Gomez. You can find the handsome guy in the profile picture. I got my Instagram, Edward Gomez Jr., and then Houston's Coolest Realtor, which I'm still building that platform as well. And on Instagram, I keep you updated with my community events, my toy drives. I can raise money for certain events. Snapchat, Edward Gomez Jr. 93. But that's about it right now. And I plan on keeping you guys more updated on my lifestyle, my growth, my progress, because, I just want to motivate you guys. I want to let y'all know that it exists. So, yeah.
Awesome, man. I look forward to it. Well, brother, thanks so much for stopping by.
Yes.
We'll be seeing you soon.
Awesome.
That's it for this edition of Momentum Mindset. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, I'm Alex Rocha with Strata Digital. Keep building.